Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Money Down Pod. That is Shawn White. You can follow him on Twitter at DumpsterFireFan. I'm Kayvon at Kayvon_sports. Welcome to the Money Down Pod, the final mock draft before the big draft day is here. We are 2 days away, and this will be me and Shawn's final mock draft. So what we will do for this, we both are going to do a full first round mock. We're each going to have 1 through 32 picks. We're going to go back and forth one by one. We've been doing, for those that have followed us, we've been doing like I do 1 pick, he does 2, 3, 4, etc. But now that this is the last mock we're going to do before draft day, we thought we would both give it out and just kind of see where we compare and contrast. Look, we're here. It's time. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, remember, our live show for the draft will be on Thursday, so stay tuned for that. But we're here, Shawn. We're finally here, man.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it. Jags got the 1 pick. It's gonna be a fun night for all of us. I know Kayvon's excited to see what his Falcons do at 8. And even if it's a weaker draft like we talked about, still always fun to see what's gonna happen. And honestly, it's gonna cause some chaos because you're gonna see some names that people are shocked by going higher, some names going lower that people think should go higher. So it's gonna be some good discussion there. And we hope you tune in and give us some comments to talk about because it's gonna be a lot of discussion around these picks.
No doubt. There's going to be a ton of discussion. There's going to be a ton of wow, they really did this. There's going to be some oohs and some ahs, as I like to say. So it'll be fun. And join in again live on YouTube for the draft show. We'll answer questions live if anyone's there, and you'll see our full reactions on how we really feel about these picks live in person without any time to really comprehend what just happened. So it could get pretty wild in the moment there. So we'll see how that goes. But let's get it started. Shawn, I'll go ahead and let you go first. It's your team. Hopefully, for your sake, this will be the last year that you guys are drafting 1 overall in a long time from now. So get it started with the first overall pick.
Yes, a lot of discussion going around. Really want a behind-the-scenes look. It's looking like Balky wants Walker. The owner, Shad Khan's kind of leaning toward Hutchinson. And then Peterson kind of wants Aquanu. But at the same time, Peterson's kind of like just that's his opinion. He's an offensive guy. He wants it there. But he understands the need for the defensive end. Really, if you look at it, for a while it was Hutchinson. But what it's looking like is that the assistant coaches have kind of banded together. They want Walker as well with Balky. They feel he's a scheme fit. He did a lot of rushing from different positions at Georgia. That's what the new defensive coordinator, Caldwell, who was under Todd Bowles, likes to do. He's going to put him in different positions and then try to blitz that third down, strong against the run, put him in third and long, blitz from all over the place. So I think it's going to be Trayvon Walker on Thursday. That's my accurate pick. We are picking kind of based on what we think is going to happen and not what we would do. I would personally probably lean toward Aquanu if it was me picking. But I understand the talent that Walker has, and he's probably going to go number 1 overall. That's what it's looking like, and I believe, Kayvon, you have that same thing.
I do. Yeah, this is now that we are almost there and there's so much intel out, this is going to be a mix of what I would do / what I think they would do, and this is strictly of what I think they're going to do. I would not take Trayvon Walker. I would listen to the head coach, Doug Peterson, who I think is the most successful person in that organization right now. And even though, I don't want to slam Balky because he has had some good drafts in San Francisco, but I would, without a doubt, I think Aquanu, a couple days ago, we did our big board. I had Aquanu as my number 1 player overall. I think he is fantastic. That's who I would take, but that's not what they're going to do. They're going to take Trayvon Walker, so that's who I have going number 1 there. Number 2, this is...
Yeah. But we'll sneak it that way.
Yeah, this is so simple. If the Jags really take Walker, Hutchinson's going to Michigan. You can bet your whole entire life savings on it. They'll put that pick in sooner than ever. Look, anything can happen, so don't actually go and bet your life savings on it. But they want Hutchinson. It fits perfect. He's a blue-collar guy. He went to Michigan. Dan Campbell loves him. If Trayvon Walker goes number 1, Hutchinson's going number 2. It's so simple.
Yeah, I think we're at the point now in the process where a lot of these drafts actually get where if you don't know the number 1 pick, usually you know number 1 and 2 based on which one goes 1. So say the Jags took Hutch, I think Trayvon Walker would actually probably go 2. And if the Jags take Walker, which I believe they do, I think Hutchinson automatically goes 2 as well. Hometown kid, played at Michigan. everything Dan Campbell loves. He's relentless. I tell you, he's like a Johnny Tryhard. I think Dan Campbell loves that about him. He can rush from the edge on a 4-3, which will fit them. I think it's going to be Hutchinson at number 2. No-brainer pick, so I'll move that on to the Texans. Here, I'm going to be honest with you, Texans fans. No clue what y'all are doing at either of your picks. You are the hardest team for me to mock, and it's really based on the fact that Caserio learned under Bill, and Bill's kind of wild out there. You never know what Bill's going to do. And then last year we didn't get any of his top picks. So I'm going to go with a kind of a smoke and fire type thing. I know they need a D end, but I do kind of think that this would be a Caserio type move. I think they might take Stingley at 3, and that would probably make Kayvon fall out of his chair. But they've done the most work on Stingley of any team out there. That's the smoke that's out there. And since I really – then Sauce does, even the other option. Oh, that was I cutting out?
You were, but you're good now.
Okay. Did you hear all that? Or
I heard that you picked Stingley.
Okay, yeah, I was saying that he fits that cover too. They seem to have done the most work on Stingley of any of the teams out there. And Caserio is the kind of type that would just go with his board over what everyone else is thinking. So that's where I have Stingley. I could honestly, this is the toughest pick for me. But I could, if he's going to go as high as 3, that's where he's going to go. If not, I could see him fall into the Seahawks. So I'm going to go Stingley right now. But again, I don't feel good about these Texans picks.
So let me ask you something. This is what I don't understand. With Caserio having a Patriots background, that doesn't seem like a Patriots pick to me to take a cornerback that high. So what do you like that doesn't seem like a pay. Now I agree with you. There is so much smoke for Stingley number 3, but it doesn't seem like a Patriots pick at all to take a cornerback that high.
I think Bill and Caserio value corners over pass rush the way they kind of have over the time with Gilmore and all them. So I think Caserio probably looks at that. And I think Stingley, between him and Gardner, I have Gardner as my number one player. But I think Stingley fits that cover 2 Lovie Smith defense where Lovie wants a ball hawk out there constantly. And that's what Stingley does best. That's what's going to get him drafted. So that's why I went with that. I don't love it. Again, this is my hardest pick to make. 3 and 13 were the hardest picks for me to make. But there's so much smoke out there that I kind of got to lean on that a little bit. Even though it is lying season, I understand.
Yeah, no, I actually think right now, if I had to bet on it, I think Stingley will go number 3. I think this is what this, or it's all lies, but that's what all the smoke is showing. Doesn't make any sense to me, so I'm not going to pick him there. I'm just going to pick what I think the best player available is, and that's Iguanu. I'm going to put Iguanu there because I just think that is a smart pick, and I'm with you. I don't know what they're going to do, so I'm just going to put Iguanu there because that's what I would do. Pretty simple, straightforward there.
Understand that completely.
Yeah. To go with my 4th pick with the Jets, I'm going with the best corner in the draft, Sauce Gardner. I don't know if this actually happens like it used to. A couple weeks ago, I know you were high on this. I'm starting to not believe this might actually happen. I actually think they might end up taking Kayvon Thibodeau here, or someone that I think you're going to put at number 4 here. I think that they're going to go pass rusher here. And I think we're going to actually see we're going to see Sauce Gardner fall down, but they need a cornerback bad. They need playmakers bad. I actually think low-key the Jets' trenches might actually be pretty good. It's not going to be great, but I actually think they're pretty solid on both sides of the line right now. They need playmakers on both sides of the ball, and for that reason, I'm going to give them your best player in the draft, my 3rd or 4th best player in the draft. I'm going to give them Sauce Gardner at number 4, but I don't know if this is going to happen anymore. I think they might actually end up taking a pass rusher.
I understand what you're saying. I completely agree. I would take Sauce Gardner if I was them, but I fully believe Saleh is kind of in on the trenches, build it up. He kind of did that in San Francisco if you saw it, and I know that defense is real big on pass rush and having the pushed up field to where your corners don't have to cover for so long. So I do think Saleh's probably leaning pass rush right now. I don't necessarily believe that Kayvon Thibodeau is a solid type of guy. But I could be wrong, and it could be smoke. So I think it's going to be Jermaine Johnson, who they've been doing a lot of smoke screen for. He's my best pass rusher in the draft, even over Walker and Hutchinson. I think that's who they're going to go with. based on the smoke we've been hearing, based on what's coming out of New York, and again, this is lying season, but this has been connected pretty well. I think they've had multiple talks or visits between the combine and their top 30. They seem to really like him, and he does fit the system. So I do think they might take Jermaine Johnson there at 4 over Kayvon Thibodeau, which leads me to the Giants at 5, who just get lucky right here, and you take Aquanu in my draft. He's right there. You plug and play him at right tackle, Andrew Thomas on the other side. He's not going to bust because if you don't like him at right tackle, you move him to guard if you need to. He's just a versatile player. He's going to be able to protect, and he's going to be able to run block. Love Aquanu there. It's a no-brainer for the Giants if he falls to him.
Yeah, without a doubt. If Aquanu's there, I think they take him, no doubt about it. Which brings me to the Giants pick, and I actually think they take Kayvon Thibodeau. I think that they end up taking a pass rusher here. I was very, very tempted to put Evan Neal here since Iguanu's already off the board. But I don't know if they're going to do Evan Neal. So not at number 5. So I'm just going to go with, again, someone that I think that they will take at number 5. And I'm going to go Kayvon Thibodeau. I think he's the second best pass rusher. I think he might end up being the first between him and Jermaine Johnson as the best. I love both of those guys. And I think they end up getting a great player at number 5 who shouldn't have fallen this far in this type of draft, but he ends up going number 5. Which brings me to number 6, the Panthers. I think that this is super fascinating, man. The rumors about them having offers or calls about trading down, especially Philly, I think actually could be real. If Sauce Gardner is available at number 6, I think there's a good chance Philadelphia comes up and gets him. I really do. I think they need cornerback help bad. Again, I don't know because there's not that many people that want to trade up for this draft. Most of the stuff that you hear about teams wanting to trade up is false. But I do think Carolina could get some interest here on cornerback if Sauce is still there from Philadelphia. Since I don't have Sauce still there, I think that they're going to make the pick, and I think that they're going to end up taking Malik Willis. For a while, I was sitting there on Kenny Pickett, and I just think that if they're going to take a quarterback, they've got to take the one with the most upside. And I'm just going to give it to them because I don't give a damn if they do this. I actually hope they do it because screw you, Panthers. But I think they're going to take Malik Willis, so that's who I'm going to put at 6.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the swing picks of the draft. If they trade out, it'll be more for an obvious player. I could see somebody coming up for Thibodeau or Sauce Gardner if they're both there still, just because they probably feel like they'll have to beat the Giants and Falcons out for both those players. So I could see that happening from a team like you mentioned, like Philadelphia or somebody. Maybe even Baltimore I'd watch out for. They're kind of sneaky about stuff, and they have a ton of picks. It's weird. The rumor mill is flying about them trading back. I mean, I'm hearing on local radio out here that they're going to take a quarterback in the second round, like they've already made the trade or something. So that's kind of strange for me. I do think they end up moving out of this, but since I didn't do trades, I'm going to have them taking Cross at number 6. I think that's their probably prototypical tackle. That's who they would take if they get stuck there, in my opinion. So I'm going to have them taking Charles Cross. Which brings me to the Giants again. The Giants have no-brainer picks in my mock draft. I think they take Sauce Gardner if he's there. I think they double up Aquanu, Sauce Gardner, my 2 best players in the draft. That'd be solid. That's who I think they take at 7.
That's a phenomenal pick there for the Giants if that's who they end up getting. I will say this. Back to the Panthers real quick, because I do listen to a lot of the local talk radio out here. If they can trade down, they will. But again, I really don't know who is going to be interested in trading up other than Philly. Like, because Carolina doesn't have a second or third round pick. So if they can trade down, they're going to. I just don't know if someone's going to give them that buyout. It's because that's what it is. They'll be helping them out here of trading down. I don't know if that's going to happen. If it does, congrats to them. But it will be fascinating to see. For the Giants here, I'm going Cross. Okay, that's who I think the Giants take. I went back and forth with him and Neal, but I think that they actually end up taking Charles Cross over Neal, and they get Kayvon Thibodeau on one side and Charles Cross on the other. Number 8 here, which is my Atlanta Falcons. I think that there's a couple players that will be available for them or that they will want. If Kayvon Thibodeau is here, I think that's who they take. I don't have him available here, So that's who I can't take. But if he is available, I think that's who we're going to see. I think it's going to come down, since he's not here, between Jermaine Johnson and Garrett Wilson. And I think we ended up taking Garrett Wilson. I think that's just the smoke says that. And I think the smoke might be right. So I'm going to give us a wide receiver, Wilson, at 8.
Yeah, I could see them taking Wilson if Thibodeau's gone, but he's not gone in my mock, so I definitely have them taking Thibodeau because I think Fontenot wants the pass rush. We've talked about it privately that you believe that as well. So that's kind of where I'm leaning. I think if Thibodeau or one of the top 4 edges is there, that's who they take. If not, I think they fall back to Wilson, which is solid pick either way because I have him very high on my list of players. He's the best wide receiver in the draft to me. So now moving on to the Seahawks, I think they just stay and take Evan Neal, but I'm not lying to you. There's some rumors out there Neal might have a medical thing. So I could see Neal kind of falling out of the top 10 based on a medical. I could be wrong about that, but that's like reports. Again, I have no inside info, but that's usually what I see Neal. I think his fall would go to the Seahawks, where I think they just take best available player, which would be Evan Neal right there.
I have them taking Evan Neal as well. I think that I heard the whole thing about the medical and all that stuff. If he does fall, it will be interesting. But I think if he's there and there is no issue, or at least slight issue with the medical, I think that's such a Pete Carroll pick. That's a John Snyder, Pete Carroll pick. I think they take Evan Neal, no doubt, which brings me to the Jets at number 10. And I think they take the person that we all believe, Drake London. They get their playmakers in my draft on both sides of the ball. They get Sauce, they get London. I like them both for that pick.
Yeah, completely agree. I understand the London thing. I have them taking Wilson because I have Wilson rated higher. They also have the smoke with him. I honestly fully believe they trade this for Deebo Samuel before the draft. I think that's going to be the 49ers pick, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do. But right now, I'm going to have the Jets pick, and I have them taking Wilson, who's my best available player. Washington's an interesting one because you hear Olave and you hear Hamilton.
Quick, before you go to Washington, real quick, I want to comment on the Deebo thing. Because we haven't really actually done a pod on this whole Deebo thing yet, so I just want to mention this. The Deebo thing is fascinating because of this. The rumors is that it's Deebo wants out and it has nothing to do with money. If that's true, and it's because he doesn't like the way the 49ers are using them, then I think the Jets are stupid to trade a 10 overall pick, because you have to understand 2 things here. If Deebo doesn't like the way the Niners are using him, that means he wants to be a traditional wide receiver, not a running back. So you have to understand you're just trading for a wide receiver, a guy who, other than outside of this year, was not that great in terms of stats-wise of a wide receiver. So, like, before I'm trading for Deebo Samuel, I need to know that he's going to let me use him the way Kyle Shanahan got to use him, as an all-around weapon. Because I wanted to say that, because if that's off the table and it's not just about the money and he really just wants to be a wide receiver, there is no way in hell I'm giving up 10 overall. Now, maybe one of the Packers picks or the Chiefs pick in the back end of the first, okay, then we can start talking. But I don't even know about that. I'm not giving up a first-round pick unless I can use Deebo the way Deebo should be used. I wanted to get that out there because those rumors to me, dude, those are worrisome if I'm a team that's trading for him.
Yeah, I understand that. And I actually saw a stat, though. He was like 3rd in receiving yards until they started using him at running back. So he was actually doing his job at wide receiver.
This year. Go look up the stats.
This year. Yeah, that's what scares me, is that it's a 1-year thing. And he came into camp out of shape the year before. He was hurt 1 year. So you're right about that. That would give me pause. I think the Jets are desperate enough to do it, to be honest. And I would like to ask Deebo this too. Deebo needs to kind of clarify, especially if he wants to get traded. Is Deebo mad about lining up at running back, or is he mad about the jet sweeps he's getting? Because, I mean, Tyreek and all them get jet sweeps all the time, and that doesn't hurt you as bad. So maybe he just doesn't like lining up in the pistol or the shotgun and taking a handoff. Maybe that's what it is. But I would be wary of trading a big amount. Can't use him to his fullness, but I do think the Jets end up doing that at some point. So that's something we definitely can discuss on draft day, because I think it's going to happen here in the next day or so. So what I was saying about Washington, I think it's between Olave and Hamilton. I think I'm going to lean Ron Rivera defensive guy. I'm going to give him Kyle Hamilton. He's just too good of a football player to fall too far, so I like him there at 11.
Yep. I have Hamilton at 11 as well. I just think that if he's there, Ron Rivera is going to fall in love with him, and I think that's who they're going to take, which brings me to the perfect situation for the Vikings. If this guy falls in my mock like he is, and the Vikings can get Jermaine Johnson at number 12 overall, they are going to snatch him up as fast as the Lions snatched up Hutchinson. So for them, Vikings fans, you guys should be very happy because this is a dream scenario in my mock for you.
Yeah, on the Vikings, I fully agree with you on that. I think if a DN falls to them, I think they run up to the podium. I also think if Stingley's there, I think that's Stingley's floor. I think they take him at 12. I did see some reports they have Stingley and McDuffie graded close, and I believe their next biggest thing is corner. So I'm going to give them to McDuffie there at 12, just the way my mock fell out. Mm-hmm. McDuffie is kind of a polarizing one in a lot of people's opinion, but I could see the Vikings having a high grade on him and taking him. That brings me to the Texans again now. I have no clue what they're doing at 13. Yeah. Literally, it's a mystery. No idea. They could take a receiver. They could take any position, really. So what I did was, I know they need an edge rusher, so I gave him Carl Loftus. Carl Loftus might not even go in the first round, if I'm being honest with you. He can fall out. I gave him Carl Loftus right now. Again, Texans fans, y'all are a very big mystery to me, so that's where this mock fell for me. That's who I gave him. But, again, he might fall out of the first round. I actually like him a lot as a prospect and think he'd be a great pick. But, again, at 13, the Texans are kind of a mystery. I do think they try to trade that down. I just don't know who people are coming up for.
Yeah, so for the Texans at 13, I have them going with the cornerback that they need. I think they take Stingley. I think that's what they would love to have at number 13 if they can get it there. And I think that they should be patient and see if they can get him there. And if they do, again, I think that's a fine pick. I just hate on Stingley to the point of what people think he's going to be. I think he'll be a starter in the NFL, as I said 100 times. I just do not think he is some shutdown guy that these – and I don't know if you're hearing now rumors about there's leaked practice tapes from LSU of him shutting down Jamar Chase and all this stuff. Like, that's not happening, okay? That maybe that happened for 1 year. That's not happening anymore. And I also want to say something about Stingley. We know he can play man. I don't know, can he even play zone? Like, the stuff about him playing zone is stuff that I think is real. We know he can play man. Other than that, we got to see. And then for my 14th pick, I'm going with the Trevor Penning for the Ravens. I just think that's the pick. I just think this is a typical Ravens pick here. I think they take an offensive tackle if it's available, and I think they like Penning.
Yeah, I like Penning a lot there, and I thought about putting him there, but I saw the news about Ronnie Stanley coming back, so I do think maybe they just take a tackle later in the draft. They have several second and third round picks that I feel, and I'm kind of going to give them somebody that I don't think a lot of people mock to them, but I kind of like them taking Devin Lloyd, to be honest with you. I like them taking that linebacker spot to maybe get Patrick Queen. This happened in Jacksonville, Miles Jack. When you put the green dot on him, when you make him think too much out there, he just didn't go and explode and make plays. I think they need to do that with Patrick Queen more. Let Patrick Queen be the one out in space and let Devin Lloyd be the signal caller guy out there. I could actually see them taking a swing at Nakobe Dean because I think they would like that as well. I think if Nakobe Dean goes in the first, it's going to be to a place like the Ravens that would like that type of linebacker. But I'm going to give him Devin Lloyd right now just because I think he fits a better size profile. But I actually like that pick. I think they can pair him with Patrick Queen and be pretty deadly in the middle.
I like that.
Which brings me to 15. I think if the Eagles stay at 15, is it the Eagles pick or did the Saints get that pick?
No,
that's where I messed up.
This is the Eagles.
Yeah, okay. The Eagles kept their pick at 15. That's what I thought. I was making sure I didn't write this wrong. I think if he's there and the Eagles are there, I think they take Jamison Williams in a heartbeat. 3 straight years with first-round receivers, but he complements Devontae Smith perfectly. You get the guy that everyone thinks is the best receiver in the draft with the most upside with the knee injury. I think it's a no-brainer pick. If he's there, you're getting a top 10 talent. I think they take Jamison Williams right there at 15 if they don't move up to the Panthers like we discussed.
Yep. I also have them taking Williams at 15. I think that is their dream scenario. I think they would love that to happen, and they get that in my draft, which brings me then to the Saints at 16, and that is Chris Olave. I think they get another Ohio State wide receiver. I think they want a wide receiver here, and I think that's who they end up taking at number 16.
Yeah, at 16, I have Penning going to the Saints. I think they take the tackle to replace Armstead. He's not going to be anything like Armstead, especially the first 2 years. But the Saints are very good at drafting offensive linemen. It's one of their strengths. They're very good at taking players like that. So I think if Penning does make it past the Ravens, I think that's where he goes to as the Saints, which leads me to the Chargers. I fully believe if Jameson Williams somehow falls to the Chargers will run up and take him.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think Olave is going to be in consideration. But right now, I'm just giving them Jordan Davis just because I don't know. I don't want to go out there and say they love Olave that much. I know they would take Jameson Williams over Jordan Davis, but I think I'm just going to go with Jordan Davis there. Make sure they shore up that run game because you have a lot of Herbert out there. You got to make sure you can stop the run. So I'll give them Jordan Davis there at 17.
Yeah, I have Jordan Davis as well. I think you're spot on about Williams, which would be fascinating. And I do think there's a chance they go for Olave too. I really do, because they did do some of that shoring up the defensive tackle in free agency. But I just think Jordan Davis is the perfect fit. And I think Staley will end up winning out and saying he really wants that and getting that pick. So I'm going there as well, which brings me back to the is this the Saints again now, or is this the –
It should be the Eagles.
Eagles. Okay, gotcha. So this brings me back to the Eagles at 18, and which is I'm having them take McDuffie. They need cornerback help. And like I said, if they don't trade up, which they could, to get one of those top cornerbacks like Sauce, I think McDuffie's the perfect pick. I know he's, like you said, a little polarizing, slightly shorter guy than average, but I like his tape, and I think he can be a good corner in the NFL. You pair him back there, and he could be good stuff.
Yeah, so since I have McDuffie already gone, I have them taking Andrew Booth Jr., who I think is a sleeper corner. I think he's really good. I think if you look past that 40 time, I think he's one of the better corners in the draft. And I think the Eagles definitely could use the corner help, which brings us to a super obvious pick. You had the Saints taking him earlier. If he's there, Olave's their guy at 19 for the Saints. I fully believe that. So that's who I have the Saints taking at 19. Ohio State guy. He compliments Michael Thomas well for whoever they have playing quarterback. That's who I like there at 19.
Yeah, that's who I had them taking in the first one. I kept getting mixed up here of how they're so both the Saints and the Eagles have 2 firsts, correct?
Yeah, they do.
Gotcha. Okay. I don't know why that confused me there.
Because the Eagles had 3, and then the Saints got their 2.
They got their second one. Gotcha. Okay.
Because they lost their second and first next year.
Yeah, I got you on that. Okay. So yeah, I had them taking Olave at number 16 and then McDuffie at 18. So then for their 19th pick, I have them, where is it right here? I have them taking Kenyon Green, someone that I actually think might end up falling out of the first round. There's a good chance of that. But I also think he could go anywhere between these picks. I don't know what the Saints are going to do with this second pick. I just fully believe that they're going to take Olave if he's available, or a wide receiver with one of them. With the second one, I think they could go anywhere. I think they could go linebacker. I think Lloyd could be available there. I think Dean could be available there. I think there's a lot of places that they could look there. Shoot, they could even go quarterback. There's a lot that I think the Saints could do with that second pick. But for now, I'm going to give them a guard. And I'm going to give them Kenyon Green at number 19, which brings me to number 20, which is the Steelers. And if I'm wrong, which I don't know what's going to happen, and the Panthers don't take Willis, I think the Steelers will take Willis here. Okay, I think there's a good chance that could happen. Since I have the Panthers taking Willis, I don't want to force them taking Pickett, even though I could see them possibly taking Pickett here too. But I'm just going to give them Zion Johnson. I think they just go offensive line. I'm going to give them Zion Johnson there at number 20.
Yeah, that's a big solid pick for sure. But I do have Willis available, and all that smoke there with Tomlin and all of them loving him. I do believe Trubisky's a perfect stopgap for him. They kind of play a little similar, but Willis has way more upside. I think Willis is the pick at 20 if he's there. Which brings me to 21 with the Patriots. I'm kind of going to throw a little bit of a curveball. I know you like Dean there, but I really do think Bill is going to love the size that he can mold around. I think they're going to take Quay Walker there. If Devin Lloyd is gone, I think they take Quay Walker. So since I have Lloyd gone, I think the Patriots take Quay Walker. He's not as instinctual as Dean is, but Bill Belichick coaches you to be in the right spot. and he's going to be able to get to the right spot fast and hit and make the tackle. He's great in coverage. I could see Belichick looking at Quay Walker and thinking, that's a guy I can mold, and even though he doesn't have the best instincts, he's going to be in the right place at the right time because of the game I'm calling for him. So that's why I like Quay Walker there at 21.
Yeah, look, I could see it. I think for me, I think the Patriots either go Dean or Booth Jr. Those are the two that I have them. But I could totally see Quay Walker. I could see Devin Lloyd. I think that they go linebacker, and I'm going to have them Dean. I'm going to stick to it. But I wouldn't be shocked if you were right on that and they go different ways there. But I'm going to have them going to Kobe Dean at 21. 22 is fascinating to me with the Packers. I know everyone thinks that they're for sure going to go wide receiver, but I don't know if that's the case, man. I think that they might, or they will go wide receiver with one of those picks, like with one of the two picks. But honestly, I don't even know if they will for sure. The Packers, I think, are all over the place with how they could go about it. I do think that another place that Kenyon Green could go is there. I really think, because they do need some help on that offensive line. I already have him going, so I'm going to have them take a bigger wide receiver in Treylon Burks. I know this guy hasn't gotten a lot of clout lately, and he's been falling a bit, but I still really liked him. I was so high on him at the beginning of the draft process, and I know I haven't talked a lot about him as much as lately, but I still really, really like Treylon Burks, and I think he could be an awesome fit with Rodgers right off the bat. So just for my personal preference, and they do need a wide receiver, I'm going to give them Treylon Burks there.
Yeah, Burks are good at any of these teams after 22 to 31, really. Like at 32, and really you would be like, okay, I understand it, except for the Bengals, who just have a stacked receiver core. Yeah. So you can understand that. I have Drake London falling so far, and I wanted to give him to the Packers. I think it's a slam dunk. But I also am worried that maybe he plays big slot like Lazard does. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of throwing me a little bit with that part of the mock. So what I did was with the Packers, I gave him Jahan Dotson, who can play inside out, even though he's smaller, just to give him a compliment, because they obviously love Lazard, and Lazard's actually played pretty well. I just don't want him to be too similar. I could see them taking Drake London as well. I really don't know if London's going to fall that far. It's just hard for me to slot him to one of these teams, really based on what they have going. And if Olave is falling too, I think most of these teams are going to take Olave over him. That's just how I feel. I think the NFL looks at it that way. But that's where I'm at. The Cardinals, I gave Abe Bikady to, because I think he's the perfect Steve Keim draft pick. Yep. Going to test off the charts, long, fast. They need to replace Chandler Jones. He's the exact type of upside player that he drafts, like Simmons and the other guy from last year that I'm blanking on his name. But Abe Bikady is a perfect Steve Keim draft pick. I have him defensive end, plug and play where Chandler Jones was. I think that's who the Cardinals take.
Nice. Yeah, I had the Cardinals taking Karlaftis. I think that they just continue to build. I think they could, again, that's another person I would look for, Kenyon Green. I think that Zion Johnson. I think that those guys could go anywhere, just like Shawn said with the wide receivers. I think they could go anywhere with that. But I think that they learned in that playoff game that they need to get more pressure on quarterbacks. They've got guys like Aaron Donald in the other position. Karlaftis, like Shawn said, he could fall out of the freaking first round. But I'm going to put him here to the Cardinals. The Cowboys are fascinating, bro. I think there's so many ways they could go here. I looked at giving them a wide receiver. And I also thought that maybe they'll do something like they've been doing, and they get greedy and they just keep going defensive heavy. So I gave them Devin Lloyd. I gave them another linebacker here. I don't know if they can pull the trigger. I think Jerry's greedy little paws might get in the way and he might go wide receiver, but I think they have a good thing going on defense. Make it the best defense in the league. Gave them Devin Lloyd to go with that stacked defense.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I could see them taking Treylon Burks if he's there, the Arkansas connection. But in the end, the way my draft fell out, I think that Stephen Jones and them kind of talk Jerry off and go, hey, this has worked for us in the past. Let's take Zion Johnson, big power guard, to go with Zach Martin, shore up that offensive line that's really been struggling a little bit and getting older. And I think that would be the solid pick for them if he's there. I don't know if they do it because Jerry kind of does like that flashy type stuff. But when he does go safe with the Fredericks and the Martins of the world, he does have success. And I could see Zion Johnson fitting exactly what they want to do on the offensive line. That brings me to the Bills. I think the only team that could take a running back is the Bills. And I gave them Breece Hall for that reason. I think Breece Hall would round out that offense perfectly. I think that would make them a bigger threat because then they'd be able to not have a bunch of people sitting on the pass all the time. Josh Allen wouldn't have to run all the time too to get run yardage. So I like Breece Hall there at 25 for the Bills.
I thought about giving them Kyler Gordon. I think that they could go cornerback, but I also went Breece Hall as well. I just think that the Bills are drafting not for need, but just for kind of like extra oomph because they have such a talented roster. So why not take a running back here and go with Breece Hall at number 25, which brings me to number 26. I think that Zion Johnson would go here if I didn't already give him away. Since I did, I'm going to give them Bernhard Rainman. I think that this is just what I think that they're going to do. I think the Giants are going to go, Bernhard Rainman are going to go offensive line. The Titans are going to go offensive line. That's just kind of the way they run their system. They're going to keep pounding it with Derrick Henry, Bernhard Rainman.
Yeah, I completely agree on that. Actually, now that I'm looking back at this, I'm going to be honest with you. This is how it is. I'm kind of silly. I probably should have put the Texans taking Drake London. Honestly, I think that'd be a solid pick because he'd fit Cooks very well.
Yeah,
and he's a top guy. They need a receiver, but I do have Drake London. It's too late. It's too big a value. I think he'd be the big slot on the inside with AJ on the outside. So that would make sense. But if it's hindsight, again, the Texans really give me issue when thinking about it because they could go so many ways. In hindsight, I'd probably put him there. But right now, I have him going to the Titans at 26, which is way late. I think he's going to go higher. I just didn't have a good team to slot him to. So that brings me to the Bucs at 27. I think it's going to be obvious. I think it's Kenyon Green if he's there. I think they're going to bolster up that O-line even more. They lost both guards, but then they got Trent Brown, Shaq Mason. They got Shaq Mason in to play guard from the Patriots. I think they shore up the other side. Brady doesn't like his feet hit and up the middle pressure. I think they shore it up if Kenyon Green's there. I think that's a solid pick by the Buccaneers.
I think it's a great pick. If that's there, I think that's a great pick. I don't have him there, so I think that they're just going to continue to go greedy, and I think they go Jahan Dotson. I think that they just go – I think they could go Breece Hall here too if he's available or maybe another running back, but I don't think that they do that. So I'm going to give them Jahan Dotson, just more weapons for Brady, more things to soak in for him to throw to. I really like him there. And then at number 28, I'm going to go Quay Walker. I already gave them Treylon Burks, the Packers, with their first pick. I think they go linebacker with their second. And since I already have Lloyd and Dean off the board, Quay Walker is my third linebacker.
Yeah, I like that pick. Again, I already have Quay off the board, and I have the Packers taking Jahan. This is an interesting one for me. I think the Packers love their offensive line scouting. I think they're very good at it. I think they can get late talent. I do think that they probably take a double look and go, holy hell, Linderbaum's here. Let's take him. Out of all the first-round prospects, I think Linderbaum's a top 10 level prospect. I think he could definitely fall out of the first round and go in the second. But out of the teams that can first round, his scheme fits well with the Packers. So I think the Packers take a good, long, hard look at him. They can move Elgin Jenkins around on anything. Their O-line's always solid. But I like Linderbaum going there at center. That brings me to the Chiefs' first pick. And these can flip either or because they have back-to-backs. But really, in the first one, I think a home run pick for the Chiefs. I think they do it. I think they take a Jabo. I think they don't worry about the Achilles. They're a team that's building for the future on defense a little bit. Get some cheap labor in there. Have him be a force off the edge in the coming year after he rehabs. I think the Chiefs can afford to be a little greedy with 2 picks and take a job over there.
Yeah, that I could see that. That's a good pick right there. I have the Chiefs taking Daxton Hill. They need safety help. They lost the Honey Badger. As I said, outside of Hamilton, I am really starting to fall in love with Daxton Hill. He's got a fascinating type of play. He's versatile. I like him a lot. So I have them shoring up some safety there, help there at number 29. And at 30, they're going to go wide receiver with Christian Watson. I think that that's a team that can kind of develop him a little bit, and they also could use him right away. I like the idea of Christian Watson out of North Dakota State getting thrown to by Patrick Mahomes. So those are the two picks that I'm giving the Chiefs.
So a little bit of smoke on the Chiefs is, and this is another thing. A lot of people really like Sky Moore to go late first, so that's who I have them taking right there. I think they could definitely take a Sky Moore if you're looking at it. I think they probably like his separation ability. He is a smaller guy. I'm not saying he's going to be Tyreek Hill. I actually think Mecole is going to take. Sky Moore's going to kind of be like the get open guy on the other side when Kelsey's playing the big X receiver that he does on that. I think Sky Moore fits the scheme well. I could see them going Watson as well. Really, any receiver they choose, kind of pick your poison. It's in an Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes system, so they're going to have their pick of the litter. I honestly could see them not even taking a receiver and taking one in the second because they kind of have that luxury with the play caller and quarterback. But I know they like Sky Moore from Smoke, so I kind of think they could take him right there. I could also see you said Hill. I could see them taking Hill as well. I just think Ajabo is a good one to take and develop, but Hill was a solid pick there too. I like that a lot. So Bengals for 31. Corner help. Kyler Gordon. That's who I have them taking right there at 31. They need a bunch of help on corner. I could see them taking a tight end in the second, maybe sneak one in the first if they like one enough and all the corners that they have highly rated are gone. But I really like Kyler Gordon there at 31 for the Bengals.
I have Kyler Gordon going at 31 as well. I think that he's the best corner on the board. I know that some people want to say Elam out of Florida. I don't really like him. Those Florida cornerbacks give me pause. I like Gordon a lot more. So I have Gordon at 31. And then I have Ojabu rounding it out at 32. I think Detroit, I actually think someone trades into this pick. But I like I said on the last the last podcast that we did, I'm starting to fall for Ojabu a little bit more, understanding his story more. And I think that Detroit wants to just pound the trenches as much as possible. And now they get Aiden Hutchinson and Ojabu in it.
Yeah. That got both of them from Michigan. That'd be pretty sick. I think people would be happy in Detroit for that. So I wanted to give them Daxton Hill right here really bad, but I actually think that the Jags aren't going to take him at 33, and that's who they take at 34 if you wanted to move down to that. Like, we're not doing a second-round mock, but this is my thought process that I'm giving you. So I think they take their quarterback, Desmond Ridder, at 32 because I think they want the fifth-year option. So that's why they take him at 32 and not 34, even though they probably want Dax Hill pretty badly as well. So there's a Michigan thing for both of us there with Dax Hill and Hutchinson for me, Ajabo and Hutch for you. But I definitely could see them, if they're going to take their quarterback, I think they take him at 32 for the fifth-year option, especially if he's probably sitting behind Goff for a year. So that's kind of where I'm going. I think they like Ridder. I think that's who they take.
Yep, and I just want to say really, really watch out for that 32 pick. I think that so our general manager Fontenot came out today and said that the plan is to leave the draft with a quarterback. I think that the Falcons could I think it's very scary, but I think they could 1,000% trade into that 32 to take Ridder. Or I think
you can look for the Chiefs for that too, with their 2 first too. That fifth-year option is enticing. That fifth-year option is very enticing, especially for quarterbacks.
Easily. Or maybe they end up taking a Corral or Sam Howell in the second round. But I think that there's a very good chance, because there's already smoke that Ridder's their favorite quarterback anyways. I think there's a very good chance that the Falcons trade in somewhere between the Chiefs' second pick all the way to Detroit's 32 pick to get Ridder if he's still available. I would watch out for that.
Yeah, good thing to watch right there. I'm excited, man. This is going to be good. I can't wait to see how this goes out.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. It's going to be really fun. We are 2 days away. Again, we will be doing a live show Thursday night, me and Shawn, on the Money Down Pod YouTube channel. Come check us out. Come have fun with us. We'll see how things go. Our first time doing it, fully live reactions. Enjoy our last mock draft here. Let us know your thoughts as we wind down the hours and the days before the real draft happens. Anything you want to say before we head out, Shawn?
No, just tune into us for real on Thursday. We're going to be here. We want to hear your reactions, see what your team's saying. We're going to give you our raw reactions. If we don't like a pick, you're going to be able to see us on our face. If we're excited for one, we're going to be up and shouting. Might have a few guests. I know we have a house full of people. Your girlfriend might be in. Might get some fashion talk on some of these. I know that's what my people like to watch. You might get some of that going. Fun names. I mean, it's going to be a full show of everything out there.
It's going to be a lot of fun. There's no doubt about that. So tune in, Money Down Pod YouTube channel Thursday night. We will see you guys then. Follow Shawn at Dumpster Fire Fan, myself at Kayvon _sports. We'll see you Thursday night for the real draft is here.